Ooh, hello, everyone. Victor Johnson with Goodwill Columbus. I'm a career facilitator in the Workforce Development Department. Today, again, talking to you about answering tough interview questions. Please remember that Goodwill Columbus has everything you need job related, whether you're starting a new career or you want to advance in your current career. And to talk with a career consultant, I'm going to give you the contact information. It's scrolling right there at the bottom. There it is. For our email and our phone number, call, make an appointment, and you can have one-on-one free consultation with one of our career consultants about your employment needs. Whether it's an interview practice or whether it's working on your resume, we're here for you. So answering tough questions, part 2. And in the first part, I talked about why questions might seem tough. And basically, a question is going to seem tough if you haven't practiced it. So that's one of the keys to making sure that you're not thinking that all these questions are tough or that the interviewer is trying to trick you. Practice as many different types of questions as you can. Basically, there's probably about 10 basic interview questions, but there are thousands of variations on the way they can be asked. So, just take some time on the internet and, have a friend ask you, but just try to find out or find as many questions that might be asked in an interview and practice. And by practice, I don't mean find a question and answer it once. I mean, find a question and answer it every day. Every day. And if you do that, practice, you found a new question. So now instead of 10 questions, you've got 11 questions. And then you find another one. Now you've got 12 questions. Maybe it seems kind of tough going through that every day, but getting a job is hard work. So if you really want that job, you're going to have to put in the work to get it because everybody else is going to if you won't. So here we go, answering tough interview questions, the second part. This is what I want to talk to you about. So I've got some examples of tough questions, and I'm going to give a couple of answers so that you can kind of hear ways that you can practice answering questions like these. Okay, do you really think you're qualified for this job? Maybe you've never heard that question before, but it's a question that can be asked. So what are you going to say? Do you really think you're qualified for this job? Even the way they say it may throw you off a little bit. So, but if you've practiced your answer, then you're going to do better and it's not going to throw you off as much. So, do you really think you're qualified for this job? Once again, be honest, be truthful, be fair, be respectful, and use good manners. Someone said a question like that to me, I would say, yes, I do. I know that there are some areas that I may lack the knowledge, but that's one of the things that happens when you're at work. You gain knowledge by doing things, and I learn very quickly. So I think I've got a good foundation for this job, and the new things that I would need to know, I will pick up very quickly. So yes, I do think I'm qualified for this job. Okay? Now, you're saying maybe you're asking yourself, how did he come up with that answer that quick? Because I've practiced. Okay, I have a job right now, but I continue to answer questions because, COVID hasn't taught us anything else. It's that you never know what's going to happen. All right, another question. Do you have a felony record? I do not have a felony record, but if you do, if you're a person that does, there are 3 things you need to do. One, tell the truth and be honest. Two, state what it was very, succinctly. And three, talk about what you're doing to make yourself and make life better for you and your family. So it's basically where you take responsibility for what you did, you express regret for what you did, and then you talk about your redemption since it happened. They call that the 3 R's, okay? Taking responsibility, okay? Responsibility for what you did. And by responsibility, you say, okay, I did it. You're not blaming it on somebody else. I fell in with a bad crowd and they were doing some things and I went, I made a terrible mistake and I went right along with them. So, I wish I could take it back. I really feel horrible about what happened and I would do just about anything to take that back. So, took responsibility and I showed regret, okay, for having done it. Now, redemption. Work on things. If you have a felony record and you're not working on something, to make yourself better, going through a course online, taking any kind of courses that you can, taking any kind of training that you can, well, then if I'm an interviewer, I don't see any motive or motivation from you. But if you come to me and you say, well, yes, I do have a felony and this is what happened and I really regret it. But while I was incarcerated, I joined a couple of groups. I stopped drinking. I became a mentor. And, I really started working on the idea of helping others when I was released from prison. And I have been doing that. I've also been taking classes and I'm doing everything I can because I am no longer the person that made that mistake. That's how you do it. And you just lay it on the table and you just be honest. Just be honest about it. Everybody's human. So, next question. Why do you have all these gaps in your employment history? Well, I kind of touched on this in part 1, but think about it. Maybe the reason you have all these gaps in your employment history is you still haven't found that job that you really want or that you're really good at. And maybe this one is the one. So why don't you express that? And just be honest and say, there were a lot of jobs I took just for the money. And as soon as I was able to get bills paid and everything, I no longer wanted to work there because I realized I really didn't like that type of work. But, the other thing is I've been doing reading. I've taken, some free courses and I've done some training. And I realized that what I want to do is so-and-so. And so that's why I'm here today. I realize what I want to do and what I want to have a career in. And that's why I'm here with you today, because I'm ready to start my career. Okay? And then what's the biggest mistake you've ever made? Okay. And let me give a little hint here too. If you get a question about a felony record in an interview, and then you get a question, what's a mistake you made? What's a big mistake you made? What's the biggest mistake you've ever made? Do not go back to the felony record. Think of something else, okay? Think of something either work-related or personally related, because it depends on how they ask it. If they say, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made at work? That's one thing. If they say, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made? Well, that includes work and personal life. So here's the thing. And I said this in the last or part one of this too. When you start off, talk about the mistake, what it was, where it was, describe it. Basically you can use the CAR method on this, where you give the context, C, context. You talk about the action you took, A, action, and then what the result was, R, result. So you can do that with a big mistake too. Here's the thing, once again, spend most of your time talking about what you've learned. Even if they don't ask that in the question, if they say, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made? You have to realize what they're really trying to find out is what you learn from your mistakes. Are you a person who learns from their mistakes? So spend your time, most of your time, talking about what you've learned and how you've changed things so you won't make that mistake again. That's what they're looking for. People who can think and communicate about what they're thinking. So just one more time, because this goes for any of the tough questions. You can lessen the effect of a negative answer by practicing. You won't be as embarrassed if you practice. When you practice more and more, you understand why the question is being asked and what the interviewer is really asking you, okay? What they're really trying to get you to talk about. And then the less you'll be caught off guard, okay? The questions won't surprise you. And even if it does surprise you, you may find that the question is related to something else that you've been practicing. So remember, practice, once again, no one is perfect, but practice gets you really close, and we can help you practice, okay? So, contact us at at Workforce Development, WFD, at gwcols.com, or call us at 614-966-9283. We would love to hear from you, and we would love to help you with your career, your new career, or advancing in your same career. So until we see each other again, thank you very much for watching. And once again, my name is Victor Johnson, Career Facilitator for Goodwill Columbus. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.